I did a walk and I met a guy named Bob. And I guess he tried to get on the HPC board. Now, I'm cruising. I'm trying to get my 3 miles in, you know what I mean, Skoo? And then I met Bob, and he stops me, and his wife, Alice. Alice, how you doing? Give me a little shout out, Alice. Alice listens to the show, watches the show, and then, Bob kind of overhears, and he's telling me about how he tried to get on HPC. And
hey, I did too.
Well,
did he get on it?
No.
Oh, I didn't either.
And I guess partly I got to take responsibility for this, but I'll put this up on the show. He said I could share this with everybody. In bold, my experience volunteering for a position on HPC. So sometime in September, October 2021, he saw something in the city e-newsletter to fill out a caucus volunteer profile sheet. It's where you put an application in, like keep your resume, your CV, or whatever.
The one they don't keep.
Well, the system's kind of. Well, I think what's his name, Adler. He's the one that created that system. David Adler. Anyways, his qualifications over a decade. He's invested in for-profit historic preservation. He received a big award, rehabilitation award, St. Joseph Landmark Commission. The governor of Missouri presented an award to him. A whole bunch of stuff, and you can read here. But in November 2021, Gordon Lampier of the Lake Forest Caucus contacted me. Do you know Gordon, Skoo?
Oh yeah, Gordon.
Is he the one that
the third ward that?
Okay, so he was running.
He's gone now, but yeah.
Is he gone or is he not on the executive? Who knows?
Hopefully.
Well, hey, that's negative.
Sorry, I didn't get experience with him, so I guess I could be negative.
Well, again, he had a Zoom interview with a subcommittee of the caucus on Sunday, November 21st. I believe the interview went well, although one member of the subcommittee did comment that Bob seemed to be overqualified for the position.
Why? Because he wanted to volunteer?
And he says,
isn't that the only qualification you should have?
Overqualified is code for too old. All right, you ready? Here we go. I was invited to be interviewed by the full caucus on November 30th, 2021. I arrived at Gorton Center, because that's where, the meetings are, a little before 7:15 p.m. While he was waiting in the hallway, he witnessed a heated discussion between Pete Jansons and a couple other caucus members.
Uh-oh.
I think that would be Kim Pfahl and David Hunt. Shortly after...
Kim Pfahl?
Pfahl. Shortly after 7:15 p.m., I was told that there were procedural issues that the caucus needed to address before I could be interviewed. At 7:45, I was told that the caucus was not able to resolve its procedural issues, and would he be willing to come back at a later date for an interview? All right, first of all... Brilliant. All right. So, the Great Resignation...
Is that?
Yeah, long story short, I was told, hey, whatever we talk about in the meeting, whether we want to hire a female or not for alderman, that I couldn't say that on the podcast. And if I couldn't agree to that, I need to leave.
You just said it.
Well, I never agreed to it. So, so it's either I dropped off or it would have taken a couple more meetings where they'd have to debate whether to keep me or not. So I'm like, all right, I'm out. I hate to quit things, but for the greater good, I stepped out. So anyways.
Which they don't have any authority since you're an elected person to dump you unless you resign. So good for you.
Well, they redid the bylaws or whatever. Who knows? Conflict of interest is what it is. So, anyways, so Saturday, December 4th, he had a new interview with the full caucus, was scheduled for 7:15 on Tuesday, December 7th. I think I was gone by then. I have to check the notes. The body of the text of the email, in all cases, emails are copy and pasted verbatim, which I'll put on here. Bob, I apologize for late scheduling the interview due to resignation and procedural issue last week. We're not able to officially set a schedule until today. I guess that's me. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Again, I apologize for any inconveniences caused. We truly appreciate your interest in serving the city. Thank you, Gordon C. Lamp here.
So they had, they had a full week to reset, and they decided to, at the last minute, cancel again.
Again, as I had not gotten a prompt reply, I had a scheduling conflict and asked to have the meeting pushed to 7:45 p.m. instead. Then here's the email. Bob, if you available, it says you. Sounds like I wrote it. If you available, we would love to interview at 7:15 p.m. December 14th at the Gordon Center. I once again apologize that we had to reschedule the interview. Your service to the Lake Forest is deeply appreciated. Feel free again to reach out to me, blah, blah, blah. On December 14th, I think I was gone by then. I arrived at Gordon a little before 7:15 p.m. The meeting had been canceled because of COVID. I later got this email. Bob, okay, you ready? I can't even begin to apologize enough for what happened. We had caucus members and a candidate's test positive for COVID-19. They had to cancel the meeting at the last minute. I was unable to attend the meeting, and I am terribly sorry you were not informed of this. I understand how these issues must look, and I fully understand if you no longer want to continue the caucus interview process. Very humbly sorry, Gordon. Okay, but wait, there's more. Then Bob gets an email. Hey, Bob, I know you want to touch base in a new year. However, the caucus has recently informed me that HPC interviews are now scheduled for the first Tuesday in January at the Gordon Center. If this is a problem, I completely understand, but I didn't want to give you any further surprises and wanted, if possible, to give you the most favorable scheduling. You're a very strong candidate and your service is deeply appreciated. If you're no longer interested, I completely understand. I wanted to keep you updated, especially since I know we have let you down in the past. I wish you and your family a Merry Christmas. Gordon. Okay. He had the Zoom interview with the full caucus, January 3rd, 2022. One of the first questions asked was, what had I done to prepare for the meeting? Why am I laughing, Skoo? Because when I got into an argument over candidates for alderman, the alderman that answered this question, you know what he or she said? They did nothing. Anyways, I responded that I had read the Historic Preservation Ordinance and reviewed the minutes of a recent meeting and was surprised to find a material error in the ordinance and that procedures outlined in the ordinance were not always followed in the commission meetings. I then got several questions about my social skills, and whether I would go along to get along. There was not much interest in my credentials. I have heard nothing from the caucus since. Does that sound familiar, Skoo?
My turn.
Oh, there's more, but keep going. I need to take a drink.
Bob, I feel for you. I had the very similar kind of, just looking at the email responses and all that. If these guys had any cojones, they would tell people, instead of saying, if you're not interested, that's fine, we understand. Instead of saying, I'm not going to waste your time because your time's valuable and, we're not going to move forward with you. Have those to kind of say that instead of keep pushing it along. But yeah, I had a very similar experience with Gordo and the third ward and all that, where, it was like, I wasn't qualified enough. Although I've served and done all this, but I wasn't qualified because I didn't have any historic background.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that, but yeah, I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. If you're not who they want, or,
Well, they know who
they shouldn't even
want.
do the interviews because it's just a joke. I mean, it's just like, these subcommittees that they create, it's BS. It shouldn't be a subcommittee. It should be your ward that is interviewing you for a position, not a subcommittee of a subcommittee that then goes back to the ward and then goes back to the full caucus. I mean, seriously? I mean, they went on, and Bob, just to go further, it took them, well, I interviewed after you, so then I was denied. They had 3 positions open. They filled one. I think they finally filled the other 2 right before they went out of session. They went for I don't know how long with only 2 openings, but yet people that interviewed, like Bob and myself, that are qualified for that, the qualification on a board or commission, I'm sorry, I'll argue this with anyone, is your desire to volunteer to help the community and the city. That's the qualification. These guys get this power hungry crap going on that they think, we're going to do this. It's a joke. It's a joke. And again, no, you don't get rid of the caucus, because then it's even worse. You got to get rid of the people and get people.
I disagree with you on that, but keep going.
I know you do, but I'm just this continuation of, and I agree that the board or whatever, the council or whatever they want to call themselves, on the caucus, that has to be redone. The caucus process works. And I know you disagree with me on that, but for 84, 5, whatever the years are, there's.
I'm just looking at your experience and Bob's and mine.
Pete, I'm not saying, I know, but the caucus, it's all about the process works. If it didn't work, it would, but it has to work because of the people. And the people are on there pushing their own agendas and lying up front that they don't have agendas. And then they get on and they start pushing that. That breaks down the caucus, and that breaks down the whole process. So it's a people issue. It's a joke. We've talked about it. The mayor has to, reach down and kind of set a committee, outside committee, to oversee this crap.
We're going on 90 years.
The best. Yeah, I know that. And it's had problems and it's worked. If it didn't work,
well,
it wouldn't be there. But it's a people-driven process, and that's the problem.
Yeah,
the people.
Well, here's more, Skoo. Am I disappointed? Bob asks. He says there are 2 answers to that question. Am I disappointed that I was not chosen? No. It's a time-consuming, sometimes thankless responsibility, and there's the risk of being sued. Number 2. Am I disappointed in how I was treated by the caucus? No. To be disappointed, one's expectations must exceed results. Based on experience, I had low expectations. In 2001, in response to a caucus mailing, I hand-delivered a volunteer profile sheet to the city hall, got no response. August of 2002, per instructions in a caucus mailing, I sent a letter attached to James Minhier, then our ward's caucus chair. I got no response. I ran into Mr. Minhier, whatever. A few months later, he lamented about how few people volunteered. I asked why he had not responded to my letter. He denied receiving it. I pointed out that I'd sent it certified mail, return receipt requested, and then I had to sign receipt. He again denied receiving the letter. Bob. And then he's got a picture of the guy signing. So that's 20 years ago of this. So it's a people thing, right?
It is a people thing. I'm going to continue saying that, Pete. It's a people thing. And, when back then, I'm not going to defend anything, but, we weren't in the technology that they use today and, whatever. But
certified mails technology.
I'm not going to argue that.
All right. I don't want to get you going, Skoo. I can
flip the switch here and go on. The other side is, why didn't Bob do numerous other things like show up at a caucus meeting and all that, which they can do, and I don't know. I'm not going to go back and forth.
Bob and Alice are listening right now. Talk to them, Skoo.
That's right. And I agree with you. But it's not a, I guess back 20 years ago, didn't see any lawsuits against the city that were created by aldermen that were elected and by board and commission members getting kicked off. I don't remember that. I was on the caucus back then. I don't remember that. So if some stuff does fall through the cracks, it does, but that's, I don't agree with it, but it happens. But never have I seen what's going on right now and people being put on boards and commissions because they're buddies with other people and not going through the right process. And it's not the right process. Pete, you getting kicked off the caucus or, threatening to get kicked off the caucus because you have an opinion. And the so-called leaders of the caucus have no cajones to
is that a Mexican
stand
dish?
up for that. I don't know, but they don't have that to stand up and say, I understand you, Pete, and let's kind of talk through this. No, they want to threaten and do all this. So it is a people issue.
Okay.
It is. The caucus system is not broken. It's screwed up, but I blame the current people and the people they keep putting on. And then telling people that have served and want to reserve again, oh, sorry, you're not qualified, or, like Bob's letter. Yeah, or like Bob's letter, yeah. And I mean, in all these responses that you just read, I don't know how many times they told them, if you're still not interested, that's okay. And then to ask a question like, what did you do to prepare for the meeting? Bob, you should have answered. Bob, you should have.
I did nothing, and I want to be alderperson of Ward 1.
No, he should have responded. Well, I don't know. I did prepare like a month ago, 5 meetings ago, when I was supposed to come forward. But you guys, it's atrocious. And let alone, Gordo has to respond, which is the silliest thing. I mean, they put this stuff in writing. I mean,
they turn into aldermen.
To respond that you got to, we're sorry, but we can't hold the meeting, this and that. What have they been doing the last 2 years? Zoom meetings. I had a freaking Zoom interview for the HPC, and 3 people showed up in the ward for the meeting. So that's the greatest thing about COVID, I think, is that if you can't do an in-person meeting, you can do it through Zoom. And you can't say that we can't do Zoom interviews because they were doing them. It just, that's the people problem. God, you got me going again.
Skoo, I was out for a walk.
I know.
And I hear a guy, are you Pete? Now I'm old school. I mean, I'm backing up. I'm squaring up. Maybe. And, but I feel bad that I held up his interview. So I'll take, whatever blame, back then. But, I was fighting.
He shouldn't. First off, they should never have those discussions if they have planned interviews for that meeting.
Yeah.
To go down a path. It should be, we're having meetings, we'll table this stuff, but that's the leadership. They want to, exhort their power that they've somehow were given themselves.
Power that's handed off. It's a nice little, I wonder if they all get together like the old presidents and they go to Swansea or whatever.
hey, listen, that letter that Bob sent.
Yeah.
And those email exchanges or whatever they were exchanges with Gordo.
Yeah.
Those are the problem with the caucus. I mean, if
people, it's an HR
and if you disagree with me,
and,
come on and challenge us.
Well, Skoo, it's an HR position. Look, you're for it. I'm against the caucus. I'm against it because you're taking these people off the street and you're trying to turn them into HR people. And when you're not an HR person and you're only trained for 30 minutes on how to interview, and you say you insinuate somebody's too old, that's.
Yeah, but Pete, that's the whole problem. It's not supposed to, it's supposed to kind of replicate like an HR process, but it's not an HR process. And you and I and people that serve on the caucus are volunteers too. You're not supposed to have that expertise, but the whole thing is, the underlying premise of interviewing someone is, number one, they want to volunteer, right? And number two, do you have any agenda or any personal conflicts? If you don't, fill the spot. It's easy. It's not an HR process. You're kind of screening these people and going, God, this is a good guy or gal. Let's send them on to the full caucus. But it's turned into an HR process, and people telling people that they don't qualify when those same people don't qualify. But their personal agenda that are interviewing is they want to be aldermen, or they want to be on this board or this commission once they get done on the caucus. But that's the whole thing. It's not a HR process. It's kind of, but it's not.
Welcome to the Lake Forest Podcast, the podcast about the lovely city of Lake Forest, featuring topics like local news, sports, music, people, food, and occasionally politics. My name is Pete, and I'm joined with the voice of the Lake Forest High School basketball, football, lacrosse, water polo.
No water polo.
Skoo. Walker. How you doing, Skoo?
Good, Pete. Beautiful Friday.
Look at you. Where are you at?
I'm on the deck, and got a lot of tree cutting and chipping going on right now. So hopefully you can hear me, but if not, I can't use sign language.
Is that your friend there, the wood chipper? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Fargo reference.
Oh, I was just going to say, is that Fargo?
Yeah.
The only movie I know that used the wood chipper too.
Skoo, how was Memorial Day, man? What was going on in town?
Memorial Day was good. I didn't attend the ceremony up in town, but attendance and good day. How about you?
I was in the Lake of the Ozarks, man. Land of the conservatives.
Love that place.
Nothing like Netflix. It's nothing like Netflix.
Did you see that family roaming around town?
I don't think that family could afford. There's no trailers around there, my friend. There's no. Believe me, if there was, I would have bought it. No, it's nice. I think I saw Mahomie's house. Mahomie has a house over there.
Who's your homie?
Patrick Mahomie.
Oh, I got
you. Yeah. No, real nice. Except for the 7-hour drive, it's a little something on the tuchus, you know what I mean? But no, it was great. It's always nice to come back home. So, yeah, thank you for having me back. There is back to the Ozarks. They do have a $3 toll bridge that is cash only. Cash only.
And if you've never been there, as you're driving, do they tell you like before the bridge at least if you don't have cash?
I'm like, cash? I haven't seen cash.
No one takes cash anymore.
You got to fill out a form, the whole 9 yards, man. And the toll, I guess I hear the bridge has been paid for, and that cash just keeps rolling in. Just saying. But the guy that wrote the series, I guess I saw where there's a bar there where he worked, or a resort that he worked at, and came up with the series. So it's
a great series. Loved it.
Oh yeah. You finish it all?
Oh God, yeah. We're not like when the new series comes out, like we'll watch the one episode and then next week we'll watch the next episode. I mean, we crush through it.
You consume content.
Trying to get caught up on Stranger Things.
That's the next one. I'm in on that.
I caught my daughter, doing the new season, but and I watched a little bit of. I'm like, crap, I got to catch back up to watch season 3 because it all ties in. But I love that series too.
No, I'm a fan.
Those are the only that's the only thing that's worth it on a Netflix anymore. I mean, there's not this on there, I think, but that's just my opinion. Sure.
Well, Skoo, you know what I also saw? I saw some fishing going on at the Ozarks, a lot of crappie, but you know where you can get a bigger fish in Florida? Shark Guy Beach Fishing. They're the premier South Florida beach fishing experience out of Longboat Key, Florida. Their world-renowned captains not only put you on the fish, but they'll help you and your family make a memory of a lifetime. Check them out on Facebook or at sharkguybeachfishing.com or sharkguyoutdoors.com. Schedule an outing. Shark Guy is your guy for your next charter. Disclaimer, Skoo still doesn't charter. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters. Reverend Luke Back from the Church of the Holy Spirit. Matt A. Elizabeth C. Coastal Lance, Otto, RDM, Broadstop Breakfast Group in Kenosha, and Captain Mike's Downtown Kenosha, and of course in Waukegan, the Greentown Tavern. Arr. All right, we got business out of the way, Skoo. What's been going on in town? What's on your list, my friend?
Today's the Fred Jackson golf tournament, sponsored by the Friends of Lake Forest and Lake Forest and all that. Deer Path is participating in that fun event today.
Who is or was Fred Jackson for those of us that are newbies that are on the caucus and want to know more?
You had to throw that one in there because
I'm
going to respond. Anyone that is on the caucus or anything should know who Fred Jackson is. But Fred was the executive director at the Rec for, I think, 100 years. Born and raised in Lake Forest, one of the few guys born and raised still alive. Great person, great family, and they decided several years ago when he retired to create this event, and it's a great event every year. And it's fun stuff out there, like Wildlife Discovery comes out and brings all their animals on one of the holes, a lot of vendors. Last year, our friends at the new bar restaurant up, I forgot the name of it, Oaken. They were out there having people test out their drinks, and which was and no, it's a fun event. So there's a lot of sponsors, fun time, and
how long's it been? How long's it been going on?
I don't know. If I say a number, I'm sure someone will correct me. But
10 years, 20, 30,
yeah,
whatever.
Probably. But 2000, probably 10, maybe a little bit less. But it's the big fundraiser for the Friends of the Parks and Rec Board, and it's a good time. So we'll have some fun, have some adult beverages, and maybe hit that little white pellet around successfully. Nice.
So I got a new thing that I do, Skoo. I walk by the lake, right on Lake Street. From.
Can I correct you before everyone else does, Pete? It's Lake Road.
It's Lake Road. To me, Lake Street. There's a Lake Street L in Chicago.
Right.
So it's just coming from Chicago. It's Lake Street. Out here, Lake Road.
I just want to make sure, because as you're walking down Lake Road, someone's going to pull you aside and go, get your facts straight.
Well, that's kind of my point. I kind of stick out in a crowd, especially when I'm by myself. And
don't see how.
People say, "Hey, you're the podcast guy." I go, "Yes, I am." And I take a couple steps back first, get my defensive pose. But I've received some feedback from my walks. I'm just going to go down the list here and cover it. I got some feedback that I put some post pictures up with certain aldermen and Rollate's Tums picks, and it wasn't appreciated. And for that, I apologize. To me, when I feel like I'm going to hurl, I take a Tums, sometimes Pepto-Bismol if it's a real heavy night out. So if anybody thought something else, mea culpa. I also got some heat for putting up the 25 feet picture from that city council meeting. You okay there, Skoo? You got a little?
I got a lot of cotton balls floating around here. I'm going to be sneezing in a few minutes, so keep going. Sorry.
So, I got a different kind of sense of humor, very acquired taste. So, when the lady, whoever that was, went up there and said, we want to show you what 25 feet look like, I put 25 feet in the border of the picture. Some people didn't like that. My apologies. Is that sincere enough?
I'm stupid, but I didn't get it until then. I thought it was kind of funny, but very creative funny.
All right. So, but you know what? We're not here to breed ill will. I took the picture down if it's really that. Hopefully I don't have to keep doing that. Well, maybe I will keep doing it. I think I'll just put a picture of me and you up there smiling, and we'll just let it go at that. But
or at least listen to the podcast before you. I mean,
I
think the podcast kind of explains some of the humor, but if you're just going to look at pictures and not, that's kind of the.
We're trying to give you a positive spin to the day, not a negative one. Unless you're in politics and you're subject to parody. That's been politics and parody has been going around for forever. So whatever. But for whoever's
the other thing is, if you want to, we're more than happy to have everyone on, whether you like us or not. If you want to come on, voice your opinion. But if there's so many people out there that are anti us, come on and talk, and let's have a chat and see what's up. Hear your side of it, or if we're wrong and stuff. And then I guess to clarify, we've never said we are the experts in our discussion. We're the experts in what we feel because we have our own opinions on stuff. But in no stretch of the imagination am I going in and having a discussion and, backing everything up with facts. Because you know what? We're having a beer, and we're having a discussion.
We're at the bar having a beer. How many fact checkers do you have so just got to reset expectations. Couple guys sitting at the bar. You don't like you're eavesdropping on us. If you don't like what we're saying, step off, man. So
not even step off. And if we're sitting at the bar and you don't like what we're saying, people usually come up and say, "Hey, I don't like what you're saying." So come on board.
We're not much.
I'd love to come on and rip you apart. I'd love to get ripped apart by someone, but it just seems like there's not a lot of people that want to come on and rip us apart, so to speak. But yet we hear all this negativity from third and fourth sources. But oh well.
Well, yeah, I heard.
I heard
somebody say this about a picture.
Well, when some people say I heard, the first thing I say is, did you even listen to the podcast?
Did you watch the podcast?
Or watch the podcast, yeah. I'm sorry, Pete. I keep saying podcast and you keep yelling at me to watch it.
Skoo, what's going on out there is, look, in order for people to get interested in watching it, you have to give a snippet. Because nobody's going to watch 40, 50 minutes, okay? So anytime you take a snippet out of a 10-minute conversation, you turn it into 2 minutes, you get context gets lost, okay? You take a little piece out, 25 feet. Oh, okay, those guys, they're talking.
I laugh now because I get what you're trying to do.
Don't give me that fake laughter, but
that's not fake.
You take things out of context. Okay. On YouTube, if you don't put a picture up that kind of entices somebody to come in and look at it, then nobody's going to, see it. So
I think the problem, Pete, is you're enticing people, but they're not coming in. They're just kind of going, "Oh, I heard."
There's
You know,
there's 25 feet.
come on in.
It's okay. Come on in, guys. Or
The water's warm.
well, you can see me walking on Lake Street, and I ran into a couple more people.
Man,
I'm telling you, here, I'll give you a couple quick ones. Hey, Pam M and Amy, I guess Amy does yoga on the lakefront there. I guess it's part of the park district. They invite all the ladies to go out there and myself. So if you want to see Pete doing yoga, if I get enough people that say I want to see Pete doing yoga, hopefully don't roll me back into the water.
actually, I'd like to see it because if you could do yoga, I'm doing yoga because you're a big guy, and that's gotta be tough.
Well, it depends where your
There's
mat
a lot
is
of weird
located.
stretching.
It depends where your mat is located. You may not want to be, especially after Taco Tuesday.
Oh, geez. Uh-oh.
So Pam and Amy, hey, good for you. Can I throw a little
yeah.
knuckleball at you?
Love knuckleballs. I used to throw knuckleballs.
Get a bigger mitt. Get a bigger mitt. If the caucus system is so great,
Didn't say it's so great.
Well, if it's the best thing that there is, then why aren't more communities doing it?
A lot more communities are moving towards that as well as a city manager form of government.
Okay.
It used to be the minority, so to speak. Now it's starting to move that way. But again, I will
check it out. Okay.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's just not a process that has become so difficult. I mean, and people to sit there, if you're on the caucus, if you've been on the caucus, what's the number one issue? You don't have, it's rhetorical, but I'll answer that. The number one issue is finding people to volunteer. Well, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. These that go through this and think, you're not qualified. Yeah, but I'm raising my hand to volunteer. I have no agenda. I want to help.
Yeah.
You shouldn't, be, oh, well, if I want to be on the building review board, I got to be an architect. That's a bunch of bullshit. I'm willing to volunteer because what it creates when you're pulling people and saying you don't qualify because you don't have this skill set or you're not in this profession, well, that creates a conflict in itself. If like the BRB is looking for architects, don't you think that don't you think that's a conflict when you're voting on a petition to rebuild your house and all that, and there's an architect voting against another architect?
Well,
that's a conflict of interest. Right? I mean,
well, Art, right?
Yeah.
Because he was doing the podcast. They pressure him to leave the show tonight. The caucus.
Why? He's not on any board or commission.
He tried to get on the HPC.
Right. Well, that's the thing.
Who better?
I had the current president tell me that if I don't get off the podcast, they're not going to move me forward. Oh, but thanks for an interview. You're very well qualified, Skoo. But here's the thing: if you don't do this, and I'm sure after the meeting, he got up in front of the full caucus and said, Skoo's a conflict because he's on a podcast. He doesn't qualify. Vote that way. It's like, I think you were on it when they said, if all things are equal, you vote for the woman.
That was the one that got me going.
Yeah, no, guys, it's not if all things are equal. Who's the best qualified to fill a position that everyone bitches about? It's hard to fill and find volunteers. But when you got volunteers raising their hand, you reward them and put them on a board or commission so you fulfill your role and all that. But these people feel like that's not the case. And then they kind of knuckle down and they say, when I get off the commission or the caucus, wink, wink, I put you in charge of the committee I'm going to be running. I want to run for something. So I know I'm going to get put on a board of commission because I was, just on the executive council.
Sure.
What? Mark my words. Mark my words. Those executive council members. Keep your eye on them because they will be on boards and commissions in no time.
Right. Well, you said your piece.
That's
I said
the
my
problem.
piece.
And it's a piece.
Bob said his piece.
Bob's
and then
right.
we got Bob. I'm glad we ran into each other. If I wasn't walking down Lake Street, I would have never. When I'm walking on it, it's Lake Street. But I'm glad. Hey, Alice, how you doing? Coffee's getting. Bob could use a little top off there. And then I got an email from somebody because we're always commenting on the alleged. Is that the right word? Alleged shenanigans with the aldermen, the three. Nice podcast. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more with your points. Our city leadership is a joke at best. Lake Forest has had issues for the blank years I've lived here. I've witnessed as a resident, caucus member, serving on city boards, and also in the city. These shenanigans are nothing new. Past administrations have done a better job of keeping a lid on it. And I got a list of articles here. Who can forget the era of Alderman Robert Pasquesi? So I guess something happened in '86. The McDonald's debacle in '96. So I guess there's a lawsuit. McDonald's gets a break. And does that ring a bell?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
The Nows lawsuit.
Canals.
It's not Nows?
Canals.
All right. So the Nows lawsuit in 2001.
That's Canals.
The legal fight over moving MS to Fort Sheridan. What's MS in '99?
Municipal
Lake
services.
Forest Municipal Services. Okay. And the granddaddy of them all, the Bob Keeley fiefdom.
Bob Kiley.
Longtime Lake Forest city manager indicted. So I was part of that. What?
Later acquitted.
He was acquitted. What? I don't know. Whatever. It's this stuff all in the patch of the Tribune, and this guy said it. So anytime you got a city, you got government, you're going to have this kind of stuff coming up, I guess. But Lake,
but again, you don't have lawsuits created by members that are elected. I mean, those lawsuits, were, I believe the McDonald's one was not because of shenanigans by aldermen. It was because they were fighting for whatever it was, but the McDonald's side sued because they felt they had a right to, but it wasn't anything against.
This are feedback. Okay, so plus minus whatever.
They're right.
So it's been going on for a while. So we're here talking about it. Okay, that's all the fun stuff. I saw something about 4th of July, Skoo.
Mm-hmm.
You want to clue people in on 4th of July?
What did you see?
I saw something about fireworks.
Yeah, that's the 4th of July. You know what that is, Pete. I don't know who the people are, but it's 4th of July, and it's at the Deer Path Park, and all
of you wear high heels
run by the Friends of the Park and Rec. That's their big event they put on besides the concert uptown. People come out and wear their high heels, and when it's wet they stink and they complain about it, but it's a great event. And the city staff, they do a fantastic job getting it all organized and all that. But it's a good time. And they've been doing that for a while. But what's it? I think. Oh no, it's the Foreigner. One of the singers for Foreigner is headlining.
All right. Well, I'm sure you booked them. So get your high heels out. See you at the fireworks on the 4th of July. That'll be.
Hopefully it's not wet.
I wonder. I wonder if there's an alternative to wet grass, wet and mud.
Probably turf.
You know, they got this thing
Oh,
called astroturf, or I'm sorry, artificial turf.
no,
Never mind.
it's not. No, you're
All
talking
right.
about synthetic grass.
Synthetic grass. Yeah, but doesn't that get into your water bottles?
Yeah.
These people are worried about
Kids are dying all over
they're
the
worried
world
about the
because of
water
synthetic turf.
system, and they're holding a plastic water bottle.
Right.
How's that Evian? I don't even, is Evian even cool anymore? It's
Well,
probably
Evian
too cheap.
from the mountains.
You know, that plastic drinking water is really going to kill you. Glug, glug.
I just like Evian from the mountains, crystal clear water. Yeah, right.
Give me the milk jug. Here you go, kid.
Ooh,
Oh, the garden hose.
I can feel that mountain water. It tastes so much better than that faucet that I just was filling.
How many chipped teeth did you ever get from the garden hose?
Nothing, because I didn't suck on the garden hose. I just, drank from it. I didn't put it in my mouth and waterboard myself.
Oh, that's right. You are from Lake Forest.
What, did you waterboard yourself? Then your brother or sister yank it out of your mouth and the metal part and rip your teeth apart? Hey, Pete, try this. Put the hose all the way in your mouth. I'll trickle the water.
You know, in the old days, well, in the old days, playing ball, I guess I should. It's not so much the water hose as the watering trough, just like cattle.
Oh, yeah. Those little holes in the plastic or the
and
PVC.
you would run to get over there to get a spot, and you go in a little too hot.
Someone, not necessarily that, but when someone's drinking out of a fountain, it always grossed me out growing up. It's like you're waiting in line to get some water out of the fountain, and the freaking kid ahead of you decides, I'm going to put my whole mouth on the metal and the fountain and drink it all. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to pass on that water.
So back in the day, social media was, if you want to know where everybody was hanging out, you just look outside for the banana seat bikes laying in the lawn.
Stingray.
The Stingray.
We used to take our Stingrays, and a guy in our street who was big into bikes and all that, motorcycles, showed us how you take the forks off one Stingray, and you can put them right on another Stingray. We had these big choppers, the big banana seats. Oh, awesome. Those are the days. No, that doesn't happen anymore.
No. Well, you got those battery bikes.
I got my hands dirty.
It's my video playing hand. Skoo, what else we got, my friend?
We used to make tennis ball cannons out of tennis ball cans. Tape a couple of them together, or maybe three of them. Tape, boom, boom, boom. Have a little at the bottom of the last one, a little cover on it, and you fill up like lighter fluid. Cut a little hole, fill it up lighter fluid, put a little fuse in there. Put a couple balls. That thing would explode. That ball would come out going about 100.
In the city,
dangerous too.
In the city, we couldn't afford fireworks, so we would have to wait till the day July 5th. We would go to the parks and we'd all look for the duds and break them open and get all that gunpowder and put it all in one place and make. You ever do any of that?
No, we did. We had some psycho people. I mean, fireworks came around. It was like, guys would be shooting bottle rockets at you. It's bottle rockets. I'm like, crap.
Those snakes.
You get those, the fireworks just in a whole thread of them. Yeah. And you're holding on to them while you're lighting them.
How long does it take?
All those good things thrown at people and all that.
How long does it take to get those snake burn marks off the driveway? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I didn't like those. They didn't do anything. They just like burned.
Inhale that. That was the worst.
I like the M80. the M80s, and then the even
Quarter
higher
stick, half stick, 250s, 500s. Yeah.
Hey, want to go blow up something? What's this?
Hey, there's a Lake Forest High School principal car.
Oh yeah,
Was
Yep.
that the
losers.
the losers?
Losers.
Losers. Okay. All right.
Yeah, guys out on the street. Wouldn't be out on the street today. And admitted, yeah, I tried to blow up his car. So what?
You got a problem
I
with
think
it?
I think he tried it twice. Yeah, the guy was, I didn't like him. I'm gonna blow up his car.
It's like, what is this, casino?
Then he's pissed that he wasn't in there. I'm like, what? And
Skoo,
now the guy's a little older, so it's like, oh, he's a great guy. Yeah, he's trying to blow up a car.
I wouldn't want to be. Hopefully, he's not in Lake Forest Place.
No.
Do you know Ryan London? He's
Nope.
the fifth president of Lake Forest Open Lands. Congrats, Ryan. That just came in. Whatever Lake Forest Open Lands is.
You need to get
What
out
is-
and walk in the open land. There's
What
all
what
these
is?
different- Well, they're at the end of Laurel Avenue is one of the trails, and all different
Oh, okay.
trails and all that stuff. Open lands runs. And
Dude, to me, Open Lands is Lake Street. I just found it. Okay,
Okay.
and I'm Lake Street.
like,
Whatever. Some
you don't
very
live in the
interesting.
town. You don't live in the town. There's only one street in Lake Forest. Did you know that?
Of course not. What street is that? Scott Street?
Scott- Yep.
I
Go to the file seat.
no kidding.
One street.
And it's
Scott.
and I got it. All right. Nice.
You're
Nice.
slumlording right on Scott Street.
Hey, that is a 5-star
Nice.
quality resort there we have. Okay, Skoo. I think we've got all our apologies in, our thank yous. I'll
Got
run
me
that.
fired up. I'm trying to be relaxed today. Have a beer and chat. Yeah.
And I'm gonna run by the pictures by you just in case. You know what I mean? Make sure we're okay. Yep, that's my list. We good. And
What's going on this weekend? I'm trying to think. Oh, this weekend is tonight. Block party. After school's out block party in Lake Bluff.
oh really?
Yeah, last week they had like a battle of the bands. I think they had like 4 or 5 bands out there, but this is the official start of summer block party. Those are always fun.
No, we got
Mavery and all the restaurants out there. Good time. Might see you out there, right?
yeah, probably. Yeah. We got graduations. Oh,
Graduation, high school graduation. I think is Saturday. What do
you know what? I
got?
forgot that we haven't spoken in such a long time. I was at that red carpet deal at the high school. That's quite the production.
Oh, prom. Yeah, they do. It's a pretty big deal. But Deer Path graduated just the other day. Junior high. Way to go! Welcome to high school.
Got to have a lawn sign for that.
They do, but they don't put the names of the kids. It says, congratulations, Deer Path graduate. Yeah, return this within 2 days after graduation. Yeah, so a lot of graduations going on. Summer ends officially Tuesday. All the grade schools are closed. So we're this is the weekend, Summer.
And then everybody goes on summer vacations in the 2 months that it's nice around here.
Right, which is nice. They go away. The town's nice. I think what is the concerts in the square are starting up pretty soon. Not next week, the following Thursday.
All right.
They got that. A lot of stuff going on. There's some concerts over at Gorton. Flyer went out with all the Gorton events going on, and
yeah, I like the bands that they put out there. Maybe we'll get the.
I want to say, and I don't know. American English, I think, is either this week
Beatles.
or next week. Yeah. Ravinia. Give it to Ravinia.
I worked at Cubby Bear like over 20 years ago.
Lincolnshire, Chicago.
Chicago, Lincolnshire, shut down, I want to say 10 years ago. American English was back then. It's just the same guys that keep rotating through. They're good. They're good. They're good Beatles, but
You've been to Ravinia?
once.
They got a good lineup.
I didn't get along with people there, man.
No?
You can't throw. I got yelled at
sitting on the grass unless you have like a high chair or something you can sit in.
I got
I like
yelled at. I was throwing around the Nerf ball and
I thought someone's going to say you're sitting on the lawn and someone yelled at you because they couldn't see the concert going on.
And then you have like the roped off areas with the blankets, and I'm like, wait, what? I can't walk here.
Well, you can. It's just those people putting ropes.
Yeah. And then,
Jackson Brown was a couple weeks.
A lot of wine and cheese. That's fine.
That was my first concert, Jackson Brown.
Jackson Brown. I would. He's good for the fourth floor.
Train accident that night too. Shocking. Someone was killed. Way back when I think it was in 7th or 8th grade. Horrible.
Yeah. No, Ravinia is fine. It's getting out of there is a great thing. Do you take the train?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, yes and no. Sometimes we drive and, walk, or we'll drive to Highland Park and walk the trail down to Ravinia.
I think that
wagon and everything.
I'd rather try to get out of Wrigley Field with a St. Louis series post game than try to get out of that Ravinia.
Don't they have they got 5 games this weekend.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. All right, Skoo, we caught up. If we got anything, we'll catch up and, let's see what kind of love we get after this show.
Hey, we'll see you out on the street. Lake Bluff tonight. Or on
Lake
the road.
Bluff, look for the big head. Look for the big
Your
head.
buddy's gonna probably be there tonight, right?
Who Robbie Boy?
Guy? Yeah. Sure,
I don't know what he's up to. He's got, I don't know. He's Mr. Facebook group. I can't keep I lose track of all of them. All right. We thank you all for listening to the Lake Forest podcast. Hey, if you like the show, subscribe. If you don't like the show, stop listening or watching. Just saying. Hey, the show is supported by Shark Guy Beach Fishing, the premier South Florida beach fishing experience out of Longboat Key, Florida. Their world-renowned campers don't only put you in fish, but to help you and your family make a memory of a lifetime. Check them out on Facebook or at sharkguyatbeachfishing.com or sharkguyoutdoors.com. Schedule an outing. Shark Guy is your guy for your next charter. Again, Skoo, do you charter?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our patron supporters, Reverend Luke Back from the Church of the Holy Spirit. I believe it's outdoor season. They're going to have the outdoor things. I saw the sandwich boards out there. You get them, Luke. Matt A, Elizabeth C, Costa, Lance, Otto, RDN, Broadstop Breakfast Group in Kenosha, Captain Mike's in downtown Kenosha, and the Greentown Tavern, Waukegan. On behalf of my fine co-host, Skoo Walker, we thank you for listening.
Enjoy the weekend.
Enjoy the weekend.